Hi, this is Swami. This is my first video on SSRS 2008 R2. Today I'll be discussing about developing a Gantt chart, which we generally call it as a range bar chart. If you go to my blog pnarayanaswamy.blogspot.com, I recently posted a article about a range bar chart using SSRS 2000 R2. If you see the output of the final report, you can see all the main task and subtasks, main task, subtasks, and left side you can see all the task names and the labels on these bars. You can give whatever you want, and on top of that we are showing months and years charts actually. So I'll let me tell you how this has been implemented. This is how. So whatever the parts you see, 1, 2, 3 and 4, all are different Gantt charts, and I'll walk you through each and every step I have used to implement this report. So first let me go through to my SQL query I'm using. So this is my subtask table, and this is my task table. Task table has only task ID, task name, start date and end date. And subtask table, it has subtask ID, task name, start date and end date. And this is my SQL query that I'll be using. If you see the output here, for each and every task, if there are any subtasks, they are listed under the same task ID. So finally what I want is the task ID, task name, start date, end date, subtask ID, a temp start and temp end. I'm just giving just random values for that. I will discuss more about this temp start and temp end while implementing the report. So let me directly go to the report. I had already added a data set with the query that I just now showed to you guys. So let me go to the design, right click, insert, chart, click on range and click on range bar, click OK. Let me just increase the height and width of this. So all these axis titles, chart titles and legends I don't want. I'll just delete. You can just click a delete button. So on here as well. Now even I don't want this axis as well, the vertical axis, so I'll just remove that as well. Now if you observe this window, this is kind of a little bit different than which used to look like in 2008 SSRS 2008. So in 2008 R2, this is the view you get. So if you click here add field, you see all the fields that are written from the query. So now what I am interested is the end date. So I'll click on end date and it will add a series. Just right click, go to series properties, and whatever is the default value, just remove that and just type end date and start date. So that's it. Now you can see the preview. You see we almost it's almost clear. Whatever the output is returned, it is showing the date down here as like months. If you see, observe that actually there is a 6 months gap between each and every vertical line. We'll discuss how you can control the lines as well. So anyway, let's come back here, and here you can just right click, and if you go all the way down, you have major grid lines. So default value is auto, and as you can observe here 127, 210, 224, this is what you see. But when you go to the output, you see a 6 months gap between each and every tick mark here, or the between two grid lines. So I don't want to go with the default value. So what I did is if you go to my report data, I just added two parameters. One is called interval. Interval is a simple integer, and I gave a default value of 4. This actually an integer, it can take any value from 0 to whatever based on I'll tell you how exactly you can use this. So for time being, just let you know that it is a interval is the field name and integer is type, and it has a default value of 4. And I added one more parameter called interval type. If you go to parameter types, this is actually a text, and I added some values to this one. You see here days, weeks, months, years, and you can even add like weeks. Weeks already there, so seconds, minutes as well. But anyway, mostly as per my experience, we'll be using either days, weeks, months, or years only. So let's go with a default value of months. And if you remember, we gave a default value of 4 for interval, and interval type we selected months. So let's go back here and just click on the horizontal axis and go to all the way to major grid lines. If you see here, I just want it to be enabled all the time, true. And here you can see the interval. Either you give a hard-coded value, suppose let me give 2, and interval type. As you can see, all these values, I added this as a parameter to our report as one of the report parameter. Let me go with the months. So now I gave interval to interval type months. Even I don't know much about this offset and offset type. Maybe you guys can explore more on that. So we have a color of Gainsborough. So what actually these major grid lines is, this is what you see here. This line you see, that is the one that actually controls. So now if we see the preview, earlier if you remember, there was a gap of 6 months between each of the grid line. Now we'll go to the preview. If you see here, you see actually we are getting for every 2 months we are getting a grid lane. And here if you see the labels, actually labels also, like there is a 6 months interval between each and every tick mark here. You see that's a major tick mark. We can even control that as well. So what we'll do is, now for this major grid lines, I'm not going with hard-coded value, so let me go to the expression and I'll select my interval as parameter type. And sorry, it didn't update it. Okay, parameters interval. Okay, now I can see that. And for interval type, I'll go with an expression, select parameters, interval type, double click, and you got it. Now this will be controlled by the report parameter. I'm just adding these two report parameters just to explore more about these properties so that you can play around with it. So now we got it. If we go back to our main report, so here down we don't even see those labels. So let's go back there, and here you just select the horizontal axis, and you can always right click here, go to horizontal axis properties. You have a section called labels. If you select hide axis labels and go to major tick marks, hide major tick marks, click OK. So now if you go to preview, you see it's pretty much clear. So for report we gave a interval of 4 and interval type as month, so it's pretty much looking good. Now we'll try to add more details to the report so that it will match to this output which I already discussed in the blog. So let me go back to my design view. So what I'll do is, let me move this a little bit aside. Now I'll just make a copy. Okay, let me just do a control C, control B. So I got another copy of this. What I'll do is I'll just select the horizontal axis, and now you know what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make a month chart bar. So month chart I'm trying to make. So I'll just go back to this. I'll enable the labels. I'll even enable the major tick marks. Okay, now go to this and select the series, which is end date, right? We'll go with the same. And if we come to left side, I think I already discussed most of the properties that you can use to control this blue bar that you can see. So let me go to the color first. So color, I don't want any color. Okay, I don't want any color. And now even select the major grid lines, just right click, show grids. You can always remove, just save all. Now see, if you see this, you have a lot of margins left and down, and I don't want this. So what you can do is just click outside the chart, just select this, and if you click one more time, see, if you select first time, it is the chart selected. If you click one more time, you can see it is a chart area. If you come down, we have something called custom position. So, and you have something called custom inner plot position. You can make this to true. See what happens here. Okay, so I'm going to make the height as 0.01. you see that just disappeared almost. You know why I'm giving 0.01 instead of 0? Because if you completely remove that, no data will be shown, even the horizontal axis. So just for time being, I'm just putting it as 0.01. Probably you can try. If you find any other option, just do let me know. So left is 0, I don't want anything, and this width I'm gonna give 100%. Okay, so now you can see it's pretty much occupied the whole report, whole chart actually. So we'll just resize this, and here goes our month chart. We'll do a little bit customization. I'm just trying to make this align with the existing chart. Okay, just right click here on the horizontal axis properties. If you go to labels, you have instead of here, this is better visible here, because you can see all options you can modify here. So you have something called labels format. So what I'll do is I'll just put a months format here like this. Now if you see here, just let me show you the output, how it looks like just with this. Just preview, you see, and as we already discussed, the default duration between each of this label is like 6 months almost. So let us instead of hard coding, we'll go with our parameters. So if you select the horizontal axis, let me horizontal axis, major tick marks, hide. No, okay, we are not hiding it. Now you have something called labels interval. So this one I'm gonna go and change it to our interval parameter. Under labels interval type, we'll go to the formula and select interval type. Okay, now even so, the purpose of doing this is wherever there is a major grid line in the main chart, I want a label on top of that for this chart as well. That's why I'm just putting both assigned to the same report parameters. So let's see the preview then. So we got it. it's pretty much clear. And for the year, you know what I did, you just do a copy paste, and you all go back here and just put it like this. Select the horizontal axis, and for labels format you can select y y y y. I think that will be, let's see the, and here for years, right? So I want to hard code this years. So let's see the preview. Yeah, actually the format is not capital wise, I think it's all small wise. You see, now it's pretty much clear. So almost half of it is done, and let's go back to our design view. And now I'm going to do the same thing, like Control C, Control V. This part will be our, if you go to our blog, I'm just trying to make this part now. So we are done with 1, 2 and 3. Now we are coming to 4. So 4. So here for this one, I will remove the existing series, and I'm gonna use temp and right click series properties, remove the default one, and you just remember top value should be always the end date, and bottom value will be always start date. Click OK. Let us save it. And for this one, I want to give a label for this series. Let's go to the label section, and you need to make label visibility as true. First let me make it default false. I'll show you how it works. So label here, let me go to expression and field set. I'm going to display task name as a label. Okay, see here it's still not shown because the visibility by default is false. So let me make it true. As you can see, now the task name appears here, and you have a bunch of properties like color you can give anything. See, I can give, let me give an yellow so that you can see that's how you can control the color. I'll go with automatic. Later we're gonna change that color, probably I'll try to give a light blue. Okay, and you have something else here which is called custom attributes. In my first blog post I already discussed all these properties in very detail. So here I'm gonna put a point width as 0.95. You can see the gap here. Now it's reduced further. I just want to look it like a label. Let me save all, and if you go to the preview now, see we are almost there. So I'm gonna just make it align with this report, and for this label I don't want these grid lines, so you can always select. Yeah, this is a problem once you remove all the margins here. So what I'm gonna do is, yeah, now I select. See, you can always click on the lines, it's gonna select. Just right click, show grid lines, you can uncheck it. So that's gonna remove the grid lines. Now save all, go to preview. You see we are almost there, except these external margins that we'll try to remove eventually. So let me go back to the design view, and here for this one in the blog I am showing the main task subtask names as labels, and we selected a different style to be shown here. So let me tell you how we can do that. So what I'm gonna do is, if you have observed my data output, see, I have a row for every task and a row for each subtask. So for this task, I know the subtask ID will be always 0. So if it is 0, means that is the main task. That's how I designed my database. So based on that assumption, I'll be playing around in the report.